Tony Khan's racism in AEW. Not a coincidence, they've never hired a black coach and is seemingly allergic to hiring black wrestlers or putting them in major stories and main events. Time to fix it. That Saturday's men's Royal Rumble match was, quote, boring. Ooh. Even WWE themselves know the Rumble match was boring. That's good to see. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of Twitter Trove. This is the series where I go through wrestling Twitter for about 5 minutes, pull out the most name-worthy, headline-worthy, interesting tweets I find, read through them, react to them on camera, and give you guys a bit of content. So, without further ado, I'm just going to cut straight to the chase here. Real quick one. Nia Jax says it hurt when people would say that she injured everyone. I mean, I get it from a human standpoint that it hurts when everyone attacks you on social media, but at the same time, I'm sure the perhaps 10 women she nearly injured for real and or did injure for real hurt as well, physically quite worse. So, yeah, interesting from Nia. That's good to know. Good to know. Next, real quick one. Essentially, Nick Khan gave a briefing saying that the viewership on Peacock numbers are up from 2021 versus 2020. This person asks, with Crown Jewel 2019 to 2021, it was up 75%. Why is that? Essentially, no one cared to see Cain Velasquez versus Brock Lesnar or Tyson Fury versus Braun Strowman, and 2021's Crown Jewel event was stacked. So, yeah, quick one there. Next up, a little trend was going around, the wrestler versus the fan, or just versus a comparison of the wrestler, in this case for me, Roman Reigns, as you can see there, and the fan is me. So there's a picture of me at the gym. Too easy. Let's go. You love to see it. Next up, Cultaholic report. WWE are reportedly aware that Saturday's men's Royal Rumble match was, quote, boring. Ooh. Even WWE themselves know the Rumble match was boring. That's good to see. Yeah. The men's Rumble match wasn't that good this year. One of the worst men's Rumble matches they've done. It just didn't hit the mark. It really wasn't it while they were doing the men's Rumble. And yeah, it's good to see WWE aware of it. So next we move on. AEW have aired 2,560 matches in their history. That means I have watched 2,560 AEW matches. Now, when AEW began, I had a feeling there'd be people like this who watch 100% of the AEW matches because they feel like they're truly a part of it, and that's really awesome. You could say you watch every AEW match of all time. That's cool. Really is. Amazing. But yeah, I'm not really going to say anything here because I feel like regardless of what I say, it'll be taken out of context. But yeah, that's hats off to you. I won't take my hat off because I haven't washed my hair in 3 days, but hats off to you there. Next up, here we go. We'll do this now. Essentially, Jobber Nation, who, if you don't know Jobber Nation, this is one of the big time, well, the reputation is anti-AW accounts on Twitter. This is one of these accounts who word everything dramatically, and for someone like me who loves dramatically worded anything, I find these tweets hilarious. And here we've got a thread. This thread is about AEW and their presentation of black or African American performers. So here we go. With Brian Flores suing the NFL for racism, it's time we start to talk about Shad Khan / Tony Khan's racism in AEW. Not a coincidence, they've never hired a black coach and is seemingly allergic to hiring black wrestlers or putting them in major stories and main events. Time to fix it. And of course, they're bringing up Scorpio Sky and Jade as if that makes up for the lack of real opportunities in AEW for black wrestlers. Jade and Sky are just there to fill a quota. Look at how Big Swole, Leo Rush, and Darius Martin were treated after speaking up. It's sad that this is still an issue in 2022. Starks, Hobbs, Private Party, and etc. have yet to get any real focus or major wins in their careers outside of maybe one at the very beginning. Less talented guys like Orange Cassidy, Marco Stunt, 2.0, Daniel Garcia, the Young Bucks, Dark Order have been given So many opportunities despite being so undeserving. AEW had a chance to sign major black wrestlers as free agents, including Carmelo Hayes, yet refused to. And please don't bring up WWE since I've called them out plenty and they've made major strides since 2018. The wrestling media refuse to address this and either ignore it or sweep it under the rug to please their master Tony Khan. You all can get sick of me bringing this up all you want to, but I will continue to speak on it until major changes are seen. Boy oh boy, wowee. A lot to digest there surrounding AEW. This was obviously a big issue, well, mainly a month ago. This was really brought to the forefront thanks to Big Swole, the whole Big Swole Tony Khan situation. Really the main kind of thing that's being presented there is how AEW presents black/African American talent, generally speaking talent of color, but mainly black talent. One channel I will mention here is Pro Wrestling Bits. If you haven't seen the Jay Lethal 911 call, you're seriously missing out. That is one of the funniest and most entertaining yet valid pieces of content I've seen in just wrestling community generally. My thoughts on this and AEW's presentation of black talent, I think they can definitely do a better job presenting them. Obviously, Jade Cargill's presented great. That's amazing. And they've had Scorpio Sky like 2 and a bit years ago pin Chris Jericho on Dynamite, and he was a tag team champion. But elsewhere, the representation thing is a bit of an issue. The main one I mentioned and think of is Will Hobbs. Will Hobbs is amazing. I genuinely think Will Hobbs is phenomenal. But what's his character? Can someone describe Will Hobbs for me? He's a muscle guy, and he's been beaten by Orange Cassidy twice in less than a minute. Like, Will Hobbs is a good example. He brings up a bunch of examples there. I'm not personally in the, oh my god, AEW is just a horrible racist company ballpark. I think that's dramatic. For sure, I really do. But I think to sweep all wrongdoings of AEW under the rug and say AEW do nothing wrong in their presentation of talent of color, and they present them well and consistently and give them great storyline and representation and explain who they are, that's wrong as well. Like for instance, the Private Party, they like parties. What else to them? What parties they like? What do they do at parties? What kind of parties do they go to? When do they go to parties? Are they going to try and get everyone else in on going to parties? Like I saw Pro Wrestling Bits bring that up. That's a valid point. I just think it's an interesting conversation to have. So, yeah, that's Jobber Nation's thread. Interesting stuff to say the least. Next up, we move on here. What is it with wrestlers comparing their expired contracts to being freed from slavery? The bleep is tasteless AF. Now, this one is obviously referring to primarily the Free Ali stuff, but just generally with wrestlers, mainly referring to WWE as a prison, as a jail. This whole thing I find ridiculous. Prisoners are like Nathan Jones in the early 90s when he was arrested due to armed robberies in the Australian outback. That's a prisoner, okay? Nathan Jones went to prison. He was being paid no money. He was getting, he was getting the prison treatment. He was locked in a cell. He couldn't do anything. He had, jail wardens monitoring his every move. He couldn't do a damn thing. That's a prison, okay? That is a prison. Wrestlers getting paid $100, $200, $300, $400, $500, upwards of $1 million a year. Them getting paid that much, and by the way, when I say $1, $2, $3, $400, $500, I mean thousands and thousands of dollars, $500,000, that type of thing. When they're being paid that much to sit around in catering, make TikToks, dance around, talk to other wrestlers, get to ingratiate themselves with the greats of the business, Randy Orton, Cena, Undertaker, Triple H when he's there, all these guys, get to be part and say you're in the WWE, get to wear the WWE gear, get to make WWE TV appearances and wrestle for the WWE, get to be part of the big brand. Saying that is a prison is disgusting to me. I think that's a gross misuse of the term jail, slavery, prison. It's sickening. I understand from the perspective of, oh my god, they don't get to express their creative freedom. They don't get to be free with pro wrestling. And to that I say this, look at AEW where supposedly everyone's get to express their creative freedom. What's Andrade done as far as his creative freedom? He's won how many matches on nationally televised programming? He's had what character development in the past 6, 7, 8 months since he got to AEW? How many times he appeared on Dark and Dark Elevation versus how many times he appeared on Dynamite? He's been put through a flaming table by Cody. Is that really the creative freedom he wished for? And I look at so many guys, like you look at the AEW roster generally across the board, obviously outside of the guys who are on Dynamite every week as the mainstays, your MJFs, your CM Punks, your Bryan Danielsons, your Moxleys, all the other guys, Tony Nese, all these guys who get signed and brought in. As far as the creative freedom, where's the proof and backing of that? I don't know. It's just an agenda to really slander WWE. That's objectively what it is. I'm not really defending the fact that WWE don't use a lot of their wrestlers well, and the fact that they market it as Reigns and Brock is all that matters and nothing else does. I hate that at WWE, but to call it a prison and a jail, as the tweet says here, it's tasteless AF. So that one I completely agree with. And lastly, this one, just a quick tweet about the ratings. Gareth tweets the ratings. SmackDown last week, 2.217 million. Pretty good rating. Raw, 1.865 million. For a Monday Night Raw episode nowadays, for a 3-hour piece of TV content that goes up against the NFL, that goes up against all that type of thing, pretty good. NXT drew the Rey Mysterio number, 619,000 viewers. Not too bad. Considering NXT nowadays is purely developmental, they're not going and cashing in their future and throwing their future away for the sake of appeasing the AEW fan base on Wednesday nights. Because of that, 619,000, not too bad. Then AEW Dynamite, 954,000 viewers. CM Punk vs MJF, first time ever in Chicago, 954,000 viewers. And then the big thing is that South Park was on. Okay. Egregious, if you ask me. And then Rampage, 601,000 viewers. So, yeah, those are the ratings. Thought I'd bring them up here. And yeah, this has been the Twitter Trove for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, comment, sub. You guys don't drill. See ya.